Now, for Android users, researchers have discovered more than 1,000 apps that continue to gather information such as your geolocation data and other information even after you've clicked no. Google says a fix won't come until the next-gen Android Q. Meanwhile, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak is urging people to dump Facebook. Now, what's with the clash of the tech titans? To discuss all of this, let's bring in investigative journalist Ben Swan. So, Ben, the FTC has been notified since last September, yet nothing has been done about this whole Android app issue. Break down for us what's happening with these apps.
Well, what's essentially happening here, and you're right, they've known about it for some time, is that a lot of the apps that are on your phone, more than 1,300 apps total in the Android Google Play Store, that you expressly deny permissions to on your phone, are using workarounds to still find your location, track where you are, access your photos, access metadata on your phone, even though they've been told specifically by you, the user, no, you can't have permission to that. And everybody knows how this works, right? You pick up your phone, you're using a certain application, and it will, when you first use it, it will pop up and say, allow, this flashlight to access photos and call logs. And you say, approve or deny, and you deny them that usage. At least a lot of us do. The problem is that these apps have found a way to get around that, so they're still accessing everything you're telling them they're not allowed to access, and Google's not doing anything about it.
Well, Ben, now one of the apps in question here, see what I did there, in question, is Shutterfly. Nice. The photo editing app has apparently been gathering GPS data from users' photos and saving it to its own servers. So aside from the obvious privacy issues, how else might this impact people? Are there other dangers?
Well, I think the biggest danger is, number one, Shutterfly is still denying that it's doing it. Even though they were caught doing this, this report essentially says Shutterfly is still accessing metadata. It is accessing your GPS and your location. And what Shutterfly says is, no, we're not doing that. But they're also saying this, in the cases where we do, where it's allowed to happen, we're just giving users a better experience. The problem is that you as a user are saying, don't use my location, don't utilize this other information. Look, everything that Shutterfly is storing on you becomes available in the instance that Shutterfly becomes hacked. And so many of these companies are hacked. So many of these companies have information and data that's pulled from them. And so the idea that Shutterfly is saying it's not a big deal, it's a big deal if I told you no. No means no, Shutterfly. And so you need to understand that if I'm telling you not to use my metadata or my location, don't use it.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme nowadays that, everybody, it goes across the board, right? No means no. So,
it's supposed to.
So one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. Speaking of privacy, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, of course, better known simply as Woz, he deleted his Facebook profile last year and is now warning us that we all need to dump Facebook due to overwhelming privacy concerns. Is he right? Or let me pose this to you, Ben. Or could Woz be working on his own social media platform, and this is kind of a way to divert people off of Facebook to maybe something else that he's working on?
Yeah, I think there's a very strong possibility that he is, because in the statements that he was making to TMZ essentially about Facebook saying, he doesn't trust them, there's a privacy issue here, he then at the end of it says, what we should do is give people a chance to pay for their privacy. If you want privacy, you just pay a little bit extra, and that way you don't get served these ads, which is not necessarily a bad idea, but it definitely sounded like a commercial where he's essentially posing this idea of something he could do. What I was disappointed in is that Wozniak did not talk at all about free speech issues. He did not talk at all about the purge that's going on Facebook to remove distinction, which I'm a big advocate of bringing that up. And he says it's just an issue of privacy, but it's about more than privacy. Facebook's issue is twofold. It's about privacy that you are being denied, but it's also about information and access to it that you're also being denied. He did not talk about the latter. He only talked about the first.
Yeah, I always find it kind of suspicious when these tech billionaires tell you to do something else. There's always another motive, Ben, and
always.
I would imagine he's working on something, and Apple is going to develop something, and we kind of know which way they lean. So maybe if you want to pay for it, so.
And it's not like Apple's protecting your privacy either. I mean, they never have.
Yeah, they might. You might be paying, rather, to allow Apple to give the FBI your information. But hey, that's up to you. We'll leave that right there. As always, appreciate your insight. As always, Ben Swan, thank you.